Looks like we have some wrenching going on out here. Finally working on this thing. And you can kind of see why I never get that much done during the winter, because I always like to work outside or just like with a lot more room. I got everything spread all over the place out here. But I have a few updates to the sled so far. I guess we can zoom in. Well, I was playing around with the cooling system here as part of the updates. Everything seems to work, no leaks. Picked up a new generator. My old one was shot, so that thing works good. But what we've done so far is rerouted the cooling system. This is not really ideal as far as cooling, in the sense of there's no radiator, but it's not going to leak. I did go ahead and test it originally, and I was correct that down here, if you can see, well, you can see here these connectors, but down here the heat exchangers, they were cracked. So when I started cycling water through the whole system, they were just peaking water everywhere. So disconnected this back section. I'm probably going to remove them eventually, but I've not taken them off yet, only because they actually have a bit of a kind of structural component. These rivets running along here and the ones in the bottom are for the heat exchanger, and they kind of help protect the tunnel and the running board here. So it's aluminum, it's not a ton of weight, at least for the moment. I'm gonna leave it on. Maybe eventually I'll do a bracket or something, but anyway, you can kind of see down there, that's where the one connection point was. But now the hose runs out of the engine, comes through here. Not the most ideal. Gotta watch that, make sure it doesn't get cut. But runs through here and loops back in. So yeah, that's what I've got done so far. I'm mounting up this little temperature gauge next. I'll probably put it up here. I have the sensor mounted there. Yeah, so that's where we're at so far. Really the only thing to do of significance is the carburetors. Clean these things up next, put some fresh fuel in this, and see if it fires up, because that's kind of important. So still plan to get this thing to the track. That's heavily dependent that it actually runs, so we'll find out here shortly, but hopefully it does. Okay, the carbs were disgusting. Not surprising. Oops. But got them all cleaned up. Basically took the bowls off on the bottom. Cleaned the main jet and the pilot jet. One pilot jet was clogged. Otherwise they were just gross from years of fuel just kind of sitting in there. So anyway, they should be good to go now. I will put them back in, mix up some fuel, and mount up the gauge here, and let's see if we can fire this thing up. Track, we made it. Sorry for the annoying background noise. It's going to be going the entire time, so hopefully you can hear me okay. But I actually already did a pass. Got in, did a couple quick prep setup, went down to tech and grabbed all my gear, and sure enough they were actually calling the bike class, which is what I'm running in. So just hopped in line and did a pass. So whew, it's a little warm. So didn't really have much time to think, just got in there and went. It did okay. It ran a 11:58 at 110. So speed's good. ET's a little low. I blew a coolant line going down the track. I didn't really realize it until I was pulling down. I could see a little bit of steam coming off because of the water. It doesn't have much water in it, so it's not that big of a deal, but that just really didn't help with temperatures. So maybe that had a little effect on ET, but yeah, 1158 at 110, not too bad. 111 light, whatever. 165 60 foot, that's not too bad. So there's the ticket. But yeah, so anyway, I got the GoPro mounted here so I can try to get it past the second time actually with the GoPro. So we'll see how this works. A little sketch, but should work. Tape is for safety. It's actually a suction cup, but we'll see. But anyway, might as well show this. Kind of hard to see, but way down in there's a coupler from a larger to smaller to larger, larger to smaller, whatever, coolant lines. That's the one that blew off. So I still think this thing might be pressuring the coolant system a little bit. Slight warp in the head, maybe, I don't know, but it still runs okay. So we'll see. Hopefully I don't blow another line. She was hot coming back in the pits, but still did okay. So yeah, I think let's try another run here. Sorry for the announcer noise here, but just finished second pass. Did better. I ran a, that's not it, 1144. So first pass is 1158, second is 1144. It was actually a little bit slower throughout, which is pretty normal, except a few extra 113 versus 110 per mile an hour in the quarter, and the quarter mile times were obviously what, tenth and a half better. So I think basically what happened was I lost that coolant hose in the first run, and it just got really hot, so killed the end of the run. Thankfully I don't think I hurt anything, but on this run it's hotter, it's a little later in the day, it's kind of heat of the day right now, so typical slow down a little, but I actually ran faster in the top end, which makes sense because I probably didn't overheat the thing finally. I did blow off another little hose. Ty probably can't, maybe you can see it, it's actually leaking right now. So I have another one of these little rubber whatever things and caps, and I had clamps, so I'm gonna put that one on there. Hopefully it gives me another run or two. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's doing okay. I think it's still pressurizing the coolant a little bit. You can see right here started to separate the two coolant hoses, but didn't actually break them. So yeah, I mean, we're doing okay. don't know if I mentioned before, but I am in the, they put me in the pro bike category, which I have no shot in. All the bikes have air shifters and electronics, and they can cut really good lights and really run their numbers. So unfortunately, it's probably going to be a one and done. I was hoping to be in the street bike category because I'm much more competitive there. Whatever, that's where they stuck me. I asked, but they wouldn't let me move. So we'll get the exhaust off here for a second time. I didn't film it the first time, but I had to take the exhaust off to get the hose. So I got to do it all over again. Cap that. I'll put some duct tape around it to hopefully get 1 or 2 more runs out of this thing, and then see what happens with racing. I don't know. Considering it's been sitting for like 5 years and all I did was just a quick cleanup on it, I'm still pretty happy. So let's see what happens next. Let's see what happens next. All right, well, I got the water line plugged again. We'll see if we can get 1 or 2, whatever more passes out of this thing. It is race time, so I'm probably going to dial something pretty close to that 11:44. Probably right around there, to be honest. So let's see what happens next. Well, yeah, back at the house, specifically back in the garage. Unfortunately, no more racing videos because, yep, the sled broke. Following up where I left off with the last clip, I had just fixed the snowmobile after the second qualifying run. Did better, ran that 11:44. First one, 11:58, just looking at time slips here. So on the first pass, I had blown off the large coolant line, fixed that. The second pass, I blew off that little one, fixed that. They had just called me up for racing to go down to the staging lanes and get laddered up. So sled was good, all fixed up. Went down to the staging lanes, and unfortunately, they told me I was not allowed to run until I paid $5 extra because when I had come in that morning at the track, I signed up for the street bike class, and then it turns out they stick me in the pro bike class. They cost $5 more. So anyway, I had to pay $5 more, or they wouldn't let me race. But the problem was I was pitted way in the back of the track, so I had already driven the sled all the way down, base to the starting line almost, and it's, you know, it's like it's hot just cruising around the pits. So I was kind of concerned about that, but I couldn't really walk all the way back, get the money, and go back again with the time you had while they were laddering everybody up. So I drove the sled back to the pits. It did okay, but unfortunately, the down and the back, that's probably a couple miles, really, if you add all that up driving around. It just overheated, pulling into the pits, blew the hose. Again, the big hose this time, same as the first time. So I knew at that point I was stuck. It was going to take, everything's super hot, so you got to take all that stuff off. You got to take all the pipes off. You got to get down. You have to put the hose back on. Hopefully nothing broke. From what I can tell, nothing did break other than coming loose. So I was stuck. At that point, I really couldn't get it done in time, so I was out. Clearly, the sled has an issue. I knew it had an issue going in. I thought, I don't think I mentioned this before, the snowmobile has a 3-layer head gasket. And I think I had taken the layers apart and just run 1 layer, kind of to increase compression. I think I had done that years back when I last rode it, 17, 18, whatever that was. And that was having the pressurizing issue then. I thought, oh, maybe if I go back to the triple head gasket, it'll help a little bit, take up a little bit of the warping. Well, clearly that wasn't the case. It's got an issue. I'm going to have to take the engine apart a little bit, take the head off, get the head cut. I can definitely do that for a benefit as well, and that's just going to get a little more compression out of it. I'm running race gas, So that'll help performance. And obviously the big thing is get rid of this stupid pressurizing the coolant, blowing off hoses issue. So, you know, kind of ended on a sour note. Sled broke, not major, but it did break. And as a side note, also when I was down there, I think when I walked down there at some point, the wind had picked up and it blew the canopy thing I had. And I had it strapped down, so it didn't go anywhere, but it twisted the legs and they broke. So fun day. So, but anyway, it's still big picture. It was fun to get the sled out. It was, like I said, 5-ish years. All I really did was clean the sled up. But clearly I got to fix it before I try again. But I will try again at least one more time this year. With the track closing, got to do it. So anyway, that's some snowmobile racing. Sled definitely has some potential. I think future races coming up probably going to be against cars. There's not really any bike-specific races coming up. It should be pretty competitive against cars. And I can run more of like a street car class, so that'll be fun. So it might be a while, but we'll get it out again. But anyway, I think that's it for now. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.